Welcome back. The program is the Afia Morning Show live from Enugu this Monday morning. Welcome to a brand new week of broadcast here on Afia TV. I am Nathalie Uku. And Ojiwa Chiku evidently is here. I mean, couldn't be more obvious about it. Haven't taken the news. How'd you do?
I'm great. Good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you doing today and how was your weekend?
Weekend was restful. Weekend was eventful. Weekend of trying out new things. Weekend of resting. And weekend of just spending time with family. The most important things.
That's awesome. Well, I was just laughing yesterday. The Kwam 2, you heard of it?
Yes.
Yeah. So a lady called Comfort and wasn't comforting. Told her to switch off her phone or gadgets when they were landing, and she refused. So the air hostess was trying to hold her in the airplane for the security guys to come pick her up and all that, and she went berserk and gave her hot slaps. And that's how the whole thing escalated on the tarmac and all that. So I don't get the reason why people are not orderly in Nigeria. Are we experiencing the ripple effect of bad governance? Like everybody is angry.
I don't think anger has anything to do with turning your phone on when the plane is landing. I think that's just sheer indiscipline. Most of the problems people have, you take it back to upbringing.
Yeah.
How were they brought up at home? If you can see a sign that says, fasten your seatbelt, make sure your mobile phones are turned up, and they've told you this thing over and over again, and you do it, then either you can't read, maybe you're visually impaired. Even if you're visually impaired, they literally read the announcement they speak it, they basically read out the announcement to you, or you're just indisciplined.
I think she's just visibly stubborn because apparently that chick beats up almost everybody right there.
It's not stubbornness. You see, stubbornness sometimes is good in that it makes you to continue to pursue what you think is important, regardless of what people think. There's a difference between being stubborn and just being outright unruly, being outright badly brought up. Because how can you endanger your life?
And the lives of others.
And the lives of others. Do you know the most critical moments that you record the most incidents of plane crashes are when the plane is taking off and when the plane is landing.
Yeah.
Because the pilot needs clear contact to the control tower. So for you to turn on your phone and they're telling you not to, and I see that all the time. Now, there's this level of laxity, I think, that has entered the aviation industry, where you see people just, I had to tell someone when I was on board a flight back from Lagos, so please, I said, is your phone switched off? Because she kept on sending WhatsApp messages as the plane was taxiing. Cabin crew prepare for takeoff, and she's still sending WhatsApp messages. I said, madam, is your phone on airplane mode? Said, and then put it on flight mode. I said, mama, who is laughing with you? You want to kill me? You want to kill me? You want to kill yourself? So, there has to be more control. Like, these people need to be checked. They need to be monitored. And I think that a lot more sensitization needs to be done. We need to see the captain, the crew, really weighing in. And if someone is unruly, please bring the staircase and remove the person. I mean, it's so dangerous. People are doing this. It's almost like
we should be careful.
Motor park.
Kind of things we indulge in this country, right?
No, not indulging. It's just unruly and indisciplined. Dr. Fyneface Dumnamene Fyneface joins us from Rivers this morning. Dr. Fyneface, so good to have you this Monday morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Natalie. Good morning to you and good morning to Oji. Nice to be part of the program today.
Nice to have you.
Good morning. How was your weekend?
Well, it was fine. And of course, we are all battling with a lot of issues. The issue of what I call terrorism on the tarmac and the runway of Kwam 1 from Abuja to Lagos. To me, I refer to it as terrorism. Because if there is a particular place we obey every rule, is when it has to do with aircraft and airline. Because as far as I am concerned, what we fly is like a flying corpse. So whatever instruction that human being can tell you to obey, rules, to fly and come down safely, you have to obey that. It is terrible that someone as exposed as he is will come and obstruct the operation of an airline. In fact, I'm not very good in doing some of these things that people do to get keep the internet busy. Otherwise, I would have organized an award ceremony for that pilot. The lady, she is a heroine. I congratulate her for what she did. And I told people on a sister radio station the second day after that happened that if I were to be in her shoes and the pilot of that flight would have done the same thing. You can't try to stop a flight from going on because of simple instruction you were given.
That's right.
And I think I blame the airport security, the customs, and all those who checked him in to have allowed that to happen. And when the whole thing was escalating, he ought to have talked to, the pilot. They come to talk to the pilot. That's the security come to talk to the pilot that this is the reason why we allowed him, if they could allow him to go in with that. So all of those are some of the challenges. Then we have some oil spills in Rivers State. And the Rivers State is still, of course, boiling with the August 30 election that is said not to be obeying timetable or obeying timetable. So we've just been at peace. A little reduction in rainfall here, and we are fine. And emergency is still on.
I like that you ended with "we're fine." We know that there's a lot of tension ahead of the scheduled election, the local government election, but we can see that we're on ground. We're going to start bringing more coverage from Rivers in just a few days, as we do have someone, a correspondent who has been deployed there. So I'm sure we're going to have robust coverage on the commotion, or hopefully no commotion ahead of the election.
Commotion.
That's right. Dr. Fyneface, thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's take a look at the headlines making the news this morning. I'll take a couple and Oji would finish up the rest. We'll start with the Punch. States hit by 68% spike in foreign debt payments. Debt servicing threatens states' fiscal stability. According to Naiti, Lagos, Rivers, others spend 235 billion naira in 6 months. EFCC arrests 93 suspects for internet fraud in Ogun. Federal government launches e-fiscal platform to crack down on tax evasion. Another UK-based Nigerian jailed 5 years for rape. Rivers LG poll umpire under fire amid ADC-APC attacks. Flood crisis. Federal government predicts more devastation in 15 states. India buys Nigerian crude as Dangote imports U.S. oil. Straight to the nation. EFCC OBJ library lock horns over arrest of 93 fraud suspects. Anti-graft agency acted on credible intelligence. It was invasion of OOPL premises. I beg your pardon. It was invasion of OOPL premises. 176 illegal estates. What government's action has cost us by developers. Fayemi, I remain APC member in Ekiti. Ex-governor for Oyebanji. FIRS e-invoicing system hits 5 trillion naira in early surge. 20% of firms join in 2 weeks, I beg your pardon. Family fixes September 9th to 12th for doing Abiola's funeral. Obe died peacefully in his sleep, says family member. On Nigerian Tribune, Senate factors to consider before approving new states. 61 requests received. Serap NGE sue Niger government NBC over Badegi FM. 2027, Niger Delta will support only Tinubu, according to the PAP boss. Strike health workers to get 7-month salary arrears by August end, according to the federal government. Release LG fund, Ocean government tells federal government again. Obasanjo Library condemns invasion of hotel by EFCC, considers legal option. Health exercise can help fight breast cancer. Banditry, police deploy squad to Kwara community. 2027 PDP may unveil zoning formula August 25th. Diri's ad hoc committee to meet this week. On Daily Trust. Residents flee Kwara villages over attacks. Federal government deploys fighter jets to chase away terrorists. Presidency dispels Tinubu's illness rumor. Obasanjo Library threatens EFCC with lawsuit over raid on facility. Couple 3 others die in Katsina road accidents. Israel's Gaza seizure plan another calamity, according to the UN. Options for banks as recapitalization pressure mounts. Hoodlums attack truck driver, born vehicle in Imo. On the Mirror, 2027 polls, Nigeria doesn't need to borrow to excel economically. Abia North senatorial aspirant Chief Kalo says Nigeria needs sustainable, secure energy to reshape future. According to Seplat, contaminated borehole poses serious health risk in Lekki, Lagos residents, Kappa.
Okay, starting from Daily Independent, how Nigerians manufacturers are weathering the economic storm or storms. Serap NGE urges court to halt intimidation of Bagi FM by Governor NBC. Obasanjo Presidential Library threatens legal action over EFCC raid. FG2 partner states private sector to boost food security systems. Another 4 years of APC will be catastrophic for Nigeria, attributed to ADC. Experts reveal key driver of Nigeria's air passenger decline. Warns airports may deteriorate due to low use. And Dangote Refinery takes delivery of CNG trucks for fuel distribution. Lastly, on Daily Independent, TEF Fund received 1.6 trillion naira lease interventions in tertiary institutions. Nigerian News Direct. FG commits to clear 7 months arrears of doctors' health workers by August end. Minister Pate affirms governor's determination to address systemic challenges. Union leaders express cautious optimism. President Tinubu, the North and the distortions of politics. I remain loyal to APC, Fayemi declares. Denies Amechi link to ADC coalition. Nine Mobile rebrands to T2. Aims to reclaim market leadership. Oshun APC Adeleke Bika over withheld LG allocations. Lastly, on Nigerian News Direct, Fashola calls for radical reform of Nigeria's football industry to unlock economic gains. Moving over to Business Day. Big story here, non-oil export earnings hit 5-year high on value addition. High cost shut real estate operators from $13.5 billion opportunity. Nigeria's rotational power deal faces 2027 test. Moving over to Vanguard. Sugar importation rises as local production falters. Sugar cane farmers laments neglects access to sugar refiners. Tariff slash. EERC moves to resolve Enugu power outage. Peter Obi has integrity. He will keep his one-term promise, says MBF. Obasanjo Library kicks as EFCC raids hotel. Looming strike. FG2 pays 7 months arrears of doctors, health workers. FG's fresh warning. States mobilize against flooding. 2027. Niger Delta will support only Tinubu, attributed to Otuaro. Tax Reform Act will cripple our operations in 48 hours, attributed to AON. Moving over to the last one right here, New Telegraph. Condemned prisoners, lawyers splits over call for judges to sign death warrants as governors refuse to sign execution orders. Loans. 149.2 billion naira deducted from highest indebted states allocation in 2024. Kaduna, Ogun, Bauchi, Cross River listed. FG begins e-invoicing electronic physical system for large taxpayers. Obasanjo Library condemns EFCC's night invasion, threatens legal action. We arrested alleged internet fraudsters, says Commission.
Over the past few weeks,
I can't walk away from party I helped to form, says ex-SGF Mustafa. Disassociates self from opposition alliance. Edo PDP slams Obebolo for spending 3.51 billion naira on traveling in 6 months. You are hypocritical. Government fires back. Naka, Kwamwan's airport conduct amounts to terrorism in most crimes. And this one says Netanyahu defends planned military offensive in Gaza. Protesters hit Israeli streets. Defections to APC will not guarantee Tinubu's victory in 2027. Akinwumi Etiku should support Obi's as coalition's candidates, says Eragbe. And this one says flood. 104,228 affected. 49,205 displaced in 21 states attributed to NEMA. Adamawa victims accuse governments of distributing expired food items. Opposition at work. What we shared have no problem, says ADSMA. Capital flight. Nigeria losing multi-billion naira to lack of technology transfer, says man. And lastly, youngsters face heart risks from excessive screen time. Study reports.
All right. Thank you, Oji, for those headlines. Dr. Fyneface, I would like us to start with the New Telegraph, the boldest headline here. Condemned prisoners, lawyers split over call for judges to sign death warrants. We're seeing governors refusing to sign execution orders. And we're seeing reports of the correctional facilities saying that these governors have been holding back on doing this despite the courts basically passing those verdicts for those criminals who have been unable to prove their cases beyond reasonable doubt that they are innocent, not even condemned, and governors are not signing the orders. What's your take on the call for these condemned prisoners to be executed due to the congestion in the correctional facilities?
Yeah, Natalie, I think in a way I'm surprised why the governors are kind of abdicating from their constitutional responsibilities to sign death warrant for condemned criminals. And at the same time, they took oath of office to, oath of allegiance and, to abide by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is not their making. I don't think that their blood will be on the hands or heads of the governors. It is what the law has put in place. So I think they should, perform their responsibilities as sitting governors, given the power to sign those who have been condemned by the court to death. Because these people have committed crime against the society and they have been found guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. So I don't know why they are trying to, do that. And then, yes, of course, the law must be amended before the judges can, they can even carry out the execution. The laws must be amended. If the laws continue to be as it is today, then it will be difficult for them to carry out the execution when the governors have not signed the warrants. So why they shouldn't do anything outside the ambit of the law, I think they should approach the governors that have refused to sign the death warrants to bring money for the construction of a new prison facility, new correctional center, where some of those people will be separated and kept until when they are committed to signing the death warrants, then they can pick them from there for, execution. So I don't know why this is being delayed. So they should provide funds for that purpose, and then we can move ahead.
It's not obvious that apparently they're trying to avert these bloods being on their hands or head. That's the reason why they are not, signing that execution order, allowing, to take the full course of executing these condemned criminals.
No, I think it's their constitutional responsibility. It's not on their head or on their hands. It's their constitutional responsibility. It's just that when you send a soldier to war, whoever the soldier kills at war, it is not that particular individual that has done that killing, but the president of the Federal Republic or the governor that gave that order for the shooting to happen that has killed. So in this case, they are just trying to not perform their duties and claiming or thinking that it is going to be seen as something that they have done by way of them being the people that killed. They are not. They were not those who passed the judgment. They were not those who committed the crime for which the individual is being condemned to death. They are only performing their duty. It just takes a single signature, and then they go and perform their duty. So it's one of the ways that will serve as deterrent to members of the society who get themselves involved in crime. You see that those who have been condemned to death in that part, and many of them were involved in murder. They have killed other people. And because they have killed other people, they've been found wanting by the court of competent jurisdiction. So they have to go in for it. So if they are able to sign the death warrants and these people are executed, it will go a long way to shape the society by telling those who want to commit similar crime that if you commit the crime, you are tried and found guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction, that the death warrant will not take time for the governor to sign, and you will go in for it. And that way the society will begin to relax. Law and order will return. Kidnapping will reduce. All of those criminal acts will also reduce.
Dr. Fyneface, let's talk about the effects and the psychological effect of this carrying out this execution of writing to execute these condemned criminals. Even you illustrated that if a soldier goes to war and kills any individual, is on the head of the president who gave the order, right? But you are the one that pulled the trigger. You are the one that saw who you shot and all that. The psychological effects, wouldn't that guilt trip be the reason why they're not indulging in signing those execution order already meted by the court?
There is no psychological effect there whatsoever. There is no psychological effect. If I were to be the governor, and it is my constitutional responsibility, I don't know why I should withhold my assent or my signature on that. I will do it because that is what the constitution has said. And before you came into office as governor, you know that you are going to perform your duties. So now they have failed to perform their duties. So they can even be sued for this. So I think lawyers should begin to prepare processes against the governors for failing to perform their duties. If they're not performing their duties, then they should go. And we are currently reviewing the Constitution of Nigeria at this point in time. Let there be a call for the review of that section to say that, okay, since governors have refused to sign death warrant, anytime a court of competent jurisdiction convicts, a criminal to death, either by hanging or by facing firing squad, after 3 months or 3 years or 1 year, and the governor fails to sign, the judgment automatically becomes a law, and the prison authority can carry out the act. The same way that power is given to state assemblies and of the national assemblies as well. That if they pass a law and over time the governor or the president does not sign the law, that they will override the powers of the president or the governor, and it becomes a law. They can make it that way and it becomes easier.
Definitely so. Now, it appears as if these condemned inmates are waiting to be killed. They are waiting to be executed. Now, sometimes when we look at this on the face value, some people might start to feel remorseful that the state or the country, the nation wants to take the lives of these condemned inmates, forgetting the crimes that they committed that caused similar pain and landed them in that situation. Now, there are lots of debates worldwide about capital punishment. Some people disagree with capital punishment. Some believe that capital punishment is a sufficient deterrent for such acts. Now, I have two questions. The governor's refusal to sign these death warrants, do you think that also increases the insecurity with some of these offenders, knowing that even if they kill someone, they might go to prison and be eaten 3 times a day, for instance, that they will not be killed off, that it's just on the face of it, they'll be executed, and that's it. They feel like they will not eventually suffer the same fate that they put someone through. On the second side, do you think that these condemned inmates have been there for so long, held in captivity, solitary confinement for so many years, that they genuinely want to die?
Yes, of course. Let's start from the fact that the refusal of the governors to sign these death warrants is increasing insecurity in the society because justice is not being served. I keep telling people that when you commit a crime, already you should know, and at 18, you cannot claim ignorance to the law, even if you are not a lawyer. So when you commit a crime, there are consequences waiting for you. So if they are not killed, it means that justice has not been served. And those who were involved in killing others before they were condemned to death will not get justice. Their souls may not even rest in peace where they are until justice is served. Right. And that is why we are having a lot of cases of insecurity in the society. You have kidnapping, you have banditry, you have insurgency, and all of these people that are operating freely in the society because justice is not being served. So if they are able to package this in such a way that when people are condemned within the shortest possible time, there is the assent to that paper and the person is executed, you see that it will serve a deterrent to others, and it will address the issue of insecurity that we have in the society. Then on the other side of it, I think you were talking about,
Yes, I was asking if these people are actually waiting to die. Do they want to die?
Exactly. Okay. Picking it from there now. They are waiting to die. There are a lot of people that are tired, haven't been there for multiple years. Remember the judicial system in Nigeria, before a criminal case is started and ended, will be at least 5-6 years. They are tired, they are frustrated, they have resigned to fate. They are just waiting for anything to happen. And if they don't want to sign for them to be executed either by shooting or whatever, there are many other ways of, using amnesia. They inject them and they gradually that. So they are just waiting to get justice. So They should give them that which they want. If an investigative journalist is allowed into the prison, to ask them some questions, you will see that they will confirm that they are just waiting for their fate. They have not resigned to fate and waiting for anything that the law says.
All right, now
and
I have to throw this to you, Dr. Fyneface. Aside from waiting for fate, aside from the consequence of not signing those warrants, do you believe in capital punishment? Do you support capital punishment?
I believe in capital punishments. And that is why I'm very careful in what I do. I keep telling people that if I commit any crime that requires that I'm taken to court, I will not suffer the lawyer to say, I'm not guilty or I'm not guilty. Although when you say you are not guilty, it doesn't mean that you are not guilty of the crime, even as you remain innocent until you are convicted. But it means that you have something to say, that if you give me opportunity to defend yourself. So having defended myself, and I know that I committed this crime, I will just plead guilty and let the law take its course. So I believe in capital punishment. Look, it is only when you use an eye for an eye, and if someone commits a crime, it stands for what the law says, that the society will be shaped. And if we fail to give justice when justice is required, then we are not going to have a better society. People will continue to commit crime and they go away with it. The same thing applies to corruption in Nigeria. People get corrupt because the legal process will rigmarole, they'll be enjoying the money. At the end of the day, when they saw that the law is hooking them properly, they will not go for plea bargain. They share some of the money, they have used some to enjoy themselves, package themselves, and they go scot-free. Those things are encouraging corruption. Corruption in Nigeria should also be made a capital punishment. If convicted, you will see that corruption will reduce. That is why I laugh at the, Rotimi Amechi, the ADC member, saying that he will end corruption in 1 month. I just laugh.
That's right.
Corruption is not one button you will press and it will go off in 1 month. I put it to him that even in 4 years, he cannot end corruption in Nigeria. Corruption is like poverty. Corruption is like stress. Corruption is like oil theft in the Niger Delta. Corruption is like banditry. Corruption is like insurgency and Boko Haram in the northeast. Corruption is like insecurity. You can't end it. The most you can do about corruption is to reduce corruption to the barest minimum. And corruption cannot be ended. So people should learn from that.
Now, Dr. Fyneface, I mean, I had a very important question for you, but now it has skipped my mind. But let's just, on a lighter note, there's this trend on social media about Governor Amuneke. Governor Amuneke going to prison to free inmates ahead of the election to help him.
They reverse everything.
Just one or two scorpion and snake. I screamed. I almost caused panic in the office when I watched that video.
But Natalie, also talking about justice needing to be served, right? Right here, New Telegraph. NCAA. Kwamwan's airport conduct amounts to terrorism in most crimes. Now, my question is, well, to err is human, to forgive is divine. As Kwamwan came out to apologize, should we forgive him or should he bear the consequences? Let the law take its full course for posterity's sake, as inciting and using him as an example?
Yeah, I think in the first instance, I'm one of those who quickly and earlier, the moment that incident happened, described it as terrorism on the tarmac. And I congratulated the pilot, the female pilot, for taking that action because she fought terrorism in the airport and in the tarmac, and she deserves a national honor for fighting terrorism on the tarmac. Now, Kwamwan have come forward to apologize. If the government reviews the apology and it becomes a sincere apology, it should be forgiven. But you should remember that it will not be forgotten. We keep telling people that when you commit a crime against the society and your community may forgive you, but it will never be forgotten and it will remain a part of you until you pass on as an individual. So now, while he had apologized, and the apology was being reviewed, an audio is said to have leaked talking about staying position that he was taking and other unwavering, very bad remarks that he made about the entire incident. So all of this put together, I think it's for the authority to review what he has said and see that if he could be forgiven or not. Because I remember the aviation minister is still pushing to see that, he's punished. And if he's punished, I believe he will serve as deterrent to a lot of people. I have shared my experience about people when I even buy this tiger nut frozen from Abuja to fly into Port Harcourt. Sometimes they will allow me in the past to fly with it, even when I check it in. At some point, they confiscated it. I can't even check it in to fly with it. I stop buying it and I leave it for them at the airport and I go my way. How much more a little cup? You know, these local flights here, their level of maintenance is different from international flight. When you fly international flight, even when you are in the air, the pilot will announce that Wi-Fi has been turned on in the plane. You are at 40,000 feet above sea level. Communicate with the earth. I have done that many times on the Atlantic Ocean. So I think when you are giving instruction here, you know, turn off your phone, you should do that, remove this water, because what he is holding, he is claiming it is water. It could be chemical weapon that you could get into the aircraft and open it and people could die. They know all of this things beyond what he knew.
That really sheds light on the threats. That really sheds light on the threats. People overlook that. They wonder why they're being stopped from taking liquid into the plane. That's quite true. Poisonous substances.
Yeah, you can open it and people die inside the flight. So take instruction. He was talking about water. Every aircraft has sufficient water. You can drink. They have it in the aircraft. When you get in, you ask for what, give it to you as many bottles as you want to drink. It's free of charge. Then if it's on international flight, the moment the plane has stabilized, if you need alcohol, ask them, they will give you any quantity you want, free of charge. So I think you should take caution and not allow this to repeat itself.
All right, Dr. Fyneface, now just to circle back to the issue of the condemned inmates. Now, two questions. First is, do you think that due to the immense developmental challenges in Nigeria, many of the state governors do not see signing death warrants as key priority? That's on one side. On the second side, how do we know when a condemned criminal has been executed? In the foreign crimes, you know that usually it makes the news. They'll call the name of one serious offender and tell you that he's been hung or he's been taken to the gallows. But here, we don't really know because a lot of things are handled in so much secrecy. It's almost impossible for a journalist to go into the correctional facility and do an ethnographic study. It's like you have to sign so many, you have to go through so many steps. So two questions. Do you think the governors are not prioritizing it because of the immense challenges? Second question, do you think that this kind of processes should be brought to the light more, perhaps even televised, to deter other possible offenders?
Yeah, I think there is no developmental challenges that will make a governor not to perform the duty of his office. And the fact that he fails to sign the death warrants is a constitutional breach that every state of assembly in every state where the governor has failed to sign the death warrant performing the duty of his office should form number one impeachment offense. There is no developmental challenges that will take a governor away from giving his signature that won't take him 5 seconds to sign. And executing inmates that have already been condemned to death is part of development. Because when that happens, the prisons are decongested and then new people have a place to stay. Nigerian prisons are so decongested that even when they call it correctional center, nothing is being corrected there because condemned criminals are mixing up with those who have lesser offenses and who are going to serve their prison terms and then be released into the society. So because of these major concessions, which they are not doing to develop the correctional center, is making it difficult for there to be sufficient, reformation in our correctional centers. Then I think this keeping it opaque, not giving information about when people are executed, is something that they need to give top priority. Because it is when this has been signed, the public get to know that the governor have signed the death warrant. When the execution have been carried out, the names of those who have been executed, the offense they committed, how old they were as at the time of arrest, how many years they spent in prison, and those information are made available to the public. It will be used for advocacy to tell other criminals at the police station, at the courts, on the streets, to let them understand those who have been killed as a result of this crime. The reason why you should not commit this crime so that you don't go in for it and become that kind of person. That will begin to shape the society. And those are some of the things that we at the civil society organization will be doing. And also the National Orientation Agency will also be using some of those statistics and information to sensitize the people against criminal activities in the society.
Let's draw this to sensitization is key. Definitely, that's a great one from your organization. But bringing it back to the society, do you think that members of the society are ready, the Nigerian society are ready to accept the fact that a governor has had to sign that death warrant, especially when you have recurring elections coming up and the rest? Most governors are too fixated on what they have to do to not upset the people, so to speak. And I don't know how they will be treating the issue of signing for someone's hanging or firing squad or whatnot, because they probably don't know how it will be received by the general public, and nobody wants to be tagged someone that killed another, like Oji rightly pointed out, even though it's not direct and the person committed a similar offense. Yeah. So essentially, do you think that the Nigerian society is able to understand the need to do this? Do you think that the sensitivity of the matter has delayed some of those orders from being signed?
Yeah, Natalie, we don't have time, but let me just summarize to say that the Nigerian society should understand why this should happen. Because even the governors they are praising, the governors they think that are failing to sign this, they are killing more people than what they should have done by signing death warrant for the people that the court have asked to die. When a governor fails to pay pension to pensioners and pensioners die, they are killing people. When they fail to pay gratuity to people who are beneficiary and they die not having their money to treat themselves, they are killing them. When a governor fails to provide health care for the people to be able to stay alive, they are killing people. Policies and programs of government are leading to the death of more people than even those that they are officially supposed to sign their death warrant for them to die. The same thing applies to the presidency. When they also fail to provide security for the people, and bandits, Boko Haram, kidnappers and all of that, key people, they are contributing to the death of people. So policies and programs of government and governors are killing more people than signing the death warrant. So the society will understand with them, because we will let them to understand. Even as we speak, check in Nigeria, when pensioners go to look for their pension and gratuity, you will see them crumbling, some of them collapsing, some of them dying and all of that. Those who even fought the Nigerian Civil War, the few that are still living till today, they have not been paid. Police officers will retire, they are not paid, and they are not properly paid. Even soldiers, people in the Navy, Army, NSCDC, they are not taken care of by the government. All those who have died in the process of trying to get their money or benefiting from government after 35 years of military service by any particular administration, the death of those people are on the head of the governors, are on the head of the president of the country. So if they are killing innocent people without having to sign a paper, what is there and different from then signing a paper and killing those who have been found guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction? Right. So the governors and president are killing more people than what they think they are doing by their policies and programs when they are in office.
Okay, well, I wanted to ask you something about one, right? You said a sincere apology. What is a sincere apology? But also, Adams Oshomole, like Kwamwan, like Adams Oshomole, and his unruly conduct and breach of aviation standards, what happened some weeks back, months back, by the way. Allowing that to go scot-free, is it the reason why we are seeing the incessant increase on people disrespecting the aviation standards and rules?
I think it's two different issues, the same scenario, but two different issues. That of Oshomole was more of arriving late and he wasn't allowed to board.
But his act was unruly.
Yeah, definitely, because he was trying to use his activism background to make demands on the system, make other people to also be able to be checking and stuff like that. But the clean part of that is that he did not obstruct the flight from taking off. But in the case of Kwamwan, he tried to obstruct the taking off of an aircraft, where other people who have lawfully arrived on time were checked in and they subjected themselves to security checks, are already sitting in on board the aircraft and waiting to take off. But all of these, apology being sincere, we expect it to be genuine with remorse. And in that apology, which I also listened to, he didn't apologize to the pilot. He didn't apologize to the crew members that we learned he poured the liquid that was in the cup on their body. But then that is not seen as a sincere apology. Also because we learned of something he said in secret that contradicted the apology. But then I think it is within the ambit of the law to take him up to court, and then at the court, if he apologizes again in court, then he can be forgiven. But then you should know that the society will never forget. And any day, anytime, it remains a part of him that kind of thing happened. Because what I said is that I learned he is very close to the corridor of power and the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But then I said that why doesn't he have a private jet that takes him around? Inside the private jet, he can put anything he wants to put there and fly with it if the aviation authority allows him. But if he comes to commercial plane, where his own right ends, where other people's own begin, I think he needs to behave himself next time. And I think this particular incident, apart from whatever forgiveness he may be given, we restrict him, and next time he will not attempt to go into the aircraft with any cup in his hand, which we don't know whether it's a biological weapon, to terrorize people on the ground and inside the aircraft.
Dr. Fyneface, I can tell that he really upset you. The video really did upset you, didn't it?
Yeah, I was really upset when I heard it. And in fact, I said it was unheard of, because he cannot try this outside the country. He can't try this in Nigeria. And that is why I praised
He can try it in Nigeria, but he can't try it outside Nigeria.
He cannot try it.
Okay, let's look at this final headline before we let you go. Two final headlines. We'd like your brief reactions to the both of them. The Nation, the incident between EFCC and the OBJ library. EFCC raiding the library to arrest the suspected internet fraudsters. Your take, because now the two parties are locking horns over the way EFCC carried out that invasion. Then on Nigerian Tribune, Senate factors to consider before approving new states, 61 requests received. This is, of course, coming on the heels of the clamor for new states in Nigeria. Your appreciation of these two headlines before we call it a day.
Yeah, I think let me start with the new state, because that's what we want to hear. New state should be approved for Nigeria. We shouldn't allow the creation of states in Nigeria to be left in the hands of the military, which means that if we need a new state in Nigeria, we should allow the military to take over government in Nigeria, so that during their rule, they will not create states. The Senate should do the needful by breaking that jinx of states being created by a democratic dispensation in Nigeria. We look forward to that happening before 2027. They shouldn't tell us that they want to create the state after they have won 2027 election. We will not take that from them. Now, the presidential library being metamorphosed into a safe haven for internet fraudsters is really very much unfortunate. And I think Obasanjo should not complain, because they ought to have reported to the EFCC when they see people come into the library, the hotel, and whatever they are doing there to carry out internet fraudulent activities. They cannot claim not to know what they are doing, because there are supervisors, there are managers that oversee what they are doing in that library. So when this incident has happened, on the part of the EFCC, I believe they should have also written to Obasanjo, who is a former president of this country, to say that they are coming and they need his cooperation and support to be able to carry out the arrest in those places. So I think that maybe communication was not perfectly effected. But then the EFCC is carrying out, its constitutional duties. And the former president remains a civilian and an ordinary Nigerian, that people can come into any facility that he owns, or like other Nigerian own facility, that can go in there to make arrests, to effect the arrest. So I think what has happened is something that, if he's not happy about, he should approach the court to seek redress.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Fyneface, for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you. Now we're going on a quick break. When the morning show returns, we're taking regional stories. And don't forget, interesting conversations coming your way ahead of the TEDx Enugu events that will be coming home August 23rd. We'll get insight from organizers on today's show. And that saga involving a certain church, St. Mary's, on August meeting day, when the women were seemingly overhauled by the parish priest. The morning show returns in just seconds. Stay tuned.